Chapter 1. The Casino Mirage. Isabella stepped into the Mirage at dusk, the lights dazzling, slot machines humming. Under the perfume-scented air, she felt small but alive. She chose a blackjack table and found herself losing handsome chips. A tall man in a leather jacket leaned over. He whispered, "Hit or stand," pointing to her cards. She looked up, green-gray eyes, a crooked smile. "Hit." He tapped the table. 10. She drew a king and bled out. Jake chuckled. "Next round's on me?" She raised an eyebrow. "Don't get cocky, cowboy." He smiled, charm lighting his eyes. "Jake." Isabella. They spent the evening playing, trading stories, her travel tales, his Vegas community. When she won a small pile of chips, he leaned close and kissed her cheek. This night's only getting started. Chapter 2. Champagne and Neon. Jake led her to a quiet corner of the lounge. He ordered champagne, bubbles glistening in tall flutes. "To your first night in Vegas," he toasted. "To more," she replied, lips brushing the glass. They talked about life. She wrote about adventures. He built them from engine blocks. As club lights shimmered, he tucked a hair strand behind her ear. He ran his thumb along her collarbone. "Can I kiss you?" She nodded, breath catching. His mouth found hers, gentle, then pressing, tasting of champagne and heat. When they finally pulled apart, neon lights flickered over them like applause. Chapter 3. Vintage car and first touch. After midnight, Bella found herself in a leather shop, but wrapped around a 1965 Mustang instead of leather chairs. Jake was restoring it on the lot behind his workshop. He climbed into the driver's seat, smiled at her, and pulled her in, legs brushing, bodies tight. He started the engine and revved it softly. The rumble drove a thrill through her. He turned to her, thumb on his shutter button. "Worth a ride?" She nodded. They roared into the Vegas Strip, windows down. Adrenaline and music blended as he kissed her on the shoulder, hand drifting under her blouse to warm skin. Chapter 4. Desert heat and midnight skin. He took her out to Red Rock Canyon under a full moon. The desert was cool at 3 a.m., but they were anything but. Jake spread a blanket. Bella wore his leather jacket. He poured red wine from his stash. She stroked his beard softly. He kissed her neck and slid the jacket open. No words, just eager hands, button by button, under the moon's glow. They made love softly on the blanket, skin eager, breath mingled, the sound of wind and distant coyote cries marking their union in the desert's quiet vastness. Chapter 5. Hotel suite and casino lights. Back in Vegas, they found a suite at the Bellagio, overlooking Fountain. Isabella stepped out in a silk slip and heels. Jake watched her from the doorway, mesmerized. They danced slowly through the room, her breath on his neck, his lips at her collarbone. He pinned her against the floor-to-ceiling window. Fountains danced below. He kissed her deeply, slipping his hands under the slip. She parted her legs, knees bending as his mouth found her thigh. They collapsed onto the bed, bodies slick, hearts pounding, making love hard and slow, midnight echoes of lust and tenderness. Chapter 6. Morning Truths. Morning light teased through curtains. They lay tangled, napping. Jake woke first, watching her sleep. He brushed a kiss across her forehead, then rolled to face her. "Greatest night I've had." She opened her eyes, smiled. "Mine too." Soft laughter. A moment of perfect balance between passion and comfort. They ordered breakfast. Over cappuccinos and croissants, they spoke of tomorrow, city visits, car shows, his idea for her travel article on Vegas secrets. She drew him close. "Stay another night?" He kissed her, sweet and slow. "Already booked." Chapter 7. Secrets under the Strip. After a day wandering the arts district, Jake took Isabella down a private staircase beneath a dusty old bookstore. Hidden beneath was a speakeasy, red velvet booths, jazz floating in candlelight. It was a local secret, and tonight it was theirs. In a corner booth, Jake rested his hand on Isabella's bare knee under the table. His fingers traced slow, lazy circles that made her breath hitch mid-sentence. They kissed behind velvet curtains, slow, burning, possessive. He whispered in her ear, "You have no idea what you're doing to me." She smiled wickedly. "Then show me." Chapter 8, The Elevator Game. In the glass elevator of the Bellagio, they stood alone. Jake pressed the top floor. As the elevator rose, so did the heat. Isabella leaned into him. Her hand slid down his chest, stopping just at his belt. He growled low, "You're playing a dangerous game." "I like games," she murmured. Before he could reply, she kissed him, hungry, breathless. The elevator reached the top as his hand slid under her dress, pinning her to the mirrored wall. They didn't make it to the room right away. Chapter 9, Jealousy in Neon. At a rooftop party downtown, Isabella wore a deep red dress that made heads turn. One man lingered too long in conversation, his hand brushing her shoulder. Jake saw it. Later, on the terrace, he pulled her into a dark corner, eyes burning. "You like attention?" She smirked. "Maybe, but I only undress for one man." His mouth claimed hers fiercely. He spun her against the wall, hands sliding down her back. She wrapped a leg around him, gasping as he whispered, "Then prove it." And she did. On the rooftop, hidden behind flowing curtains, under starlight and fire. Chapter 10, The Fight. But passion has sharp edges. Jake found a plane ticket in her purse. An open return to New York. "You were planning to leave?" "I didn't know how long I'd stay," she said, voice low. "I didn't plan to fall for you." He stepped back. "You're just passing through, like everyone else." She looked at him, tears threatening. "You think this is fake?" Silence. Then she walked out. Las Vegas had never felt so cold. Chapter 11, Redemption on Fremont Street. Days passed. They didn't speak. Jake wandered Fremont Street, hollow. Lights didn't blink the same. Then, on a quiet corner near Container Park, he saw her, sketching in a notebook, wearing his leather jacket. She looked up. "Didn't think you'd find me here. I had to try." They talked. Honestly. No games. Just love and longing. He cupped her face. "I was afraid of losing you, so I pushed. I wanted to stay. I just needed to know you'd want me to." He kissed her like it was the first time. The crowd disappeared. Vegas pulsed behind them, but all they felt was each other. Chapter 12, Room 903. They checked into a smaller, quieter hotel off the strip. No flashing signs, no noise. Just privacy. Room 903 was dimly lit, with burgundy curtains and soft jazz on the Bluetooth speaker. Jake undressed her slowly, like unwrapping something sacred. She touched every scar on his chest, every muscle tense under her fingers. No rush. Just reverence. They made love on the windowsill, on the carpet, under the soft light of Vegas filtering through sheer curtains. Every touch was a promise. Chapter 13, Letters on the Mirror. While Jake was in the shower the next morning, Isabella found lipstick in her purse and scrawled a message on the steamed mirror. "Don't be afraid of love." He saw it when he stepped out, hair dripping, towel around his waist. She was lying in bed, watching. He crossed the room in 3 strides and kissed her without a word, hard and honest. That message stayed on the mirror all day. Chapter 14, Strip and Strip Again. They went dancing that night, a burlesque-style lounge. Isabella surprised Jake by requesting a booth near the front. When one of the dancers pulled her on stage, she didn't refuse. She swayed her hips, flirted with the rhythm, and locked eyes with Jake the whole time. Her performance wasn't for the crowd, it was only for him. Later, in the back seat of his Mustang, she sat on his lap and whispered, "Now it's your turn to perform." And he did. Chapter 15. His past, her pain. One evening over wine, Jake opened up about his ex, about the heartbreak that made him close himself off for years. "I thought love wasn't for me anymore," he admitted. Isabella touched his hand. "I know that kind of fear." She shared a story of Paris, of a man who promised her forever and disappeared with her heart. They sat in silence, sharing the weight of broken trust and the gentle beginning of healing. Then they kissed, long and soft, not out of lust, but from knowing they were no longer alone. Chapter 16. Love in Neon Ink. On their final night in Vegas, Jake took her to a tattoo parlor. "I want something to remember you by," he said. Isabella chose a small neon heart, the symbol they'd laughed about earlier in their trip. She watched as the artist inked it onto Jake's left shoulder. Then he surprised her. "I got another one." She leaned in. I+J, Las Vegas. It was just below his collarbone. She teared up. "I guess you're not afraid anymore." He smiled. "Not of you." They kissed under fluorescent lights and the buzz of the tattoo gun, the moment etched forever in ink. And in them. Chapter 17. Unexpected call. Back in their hotel, Isabella's phone buzzed. A New York editor, her dream publisher, wanted her for a book deal based on her travels. But there was a catch. They needed her back in the city in 3 days. She stared at the screen, torn. Jake came up behind her. "Good news?" She hesitated. "It's everything I've worked for." His smile was gentle. "Then you should go." But she saw it in his eyes, fear, sadness. They lay in silence that night, their bodies close, but their minds far apart.
Chapter 18, 4:44 nachts.
At 4:44 in the morning, Isabella slipped out of bed, unable to sleep. She walked the strip alone, Vegas now eerily quiet. Her heart raced. Could she walk away from him? She found herself in front of the chapel they passed on their second night. The sign read, "Love needs courage." A sudden breeze caught her hair. She pulled out her phone and typed a message to Jake. She didn't send it. She turned around and walked back to the hotel, heart heavier, but with a growing clarity. Chapter 19. Waking Words. When Jake woke, Isabella was watching him, silent, serious. "I don't want to leave," she said. "But you have to," he replied. "I don't want to lose this either." He sat up, holding her hand. "Then don't." "What are you saying?" "I don't have a plan, but I'm all in if you are." They kissed, deeply, slowly. And in that kiss, they both said yes. Chapter 20. Love and Las Vegas Lights. They spent their last full day doing everything one last time. Dancing, riding the Ferris wheel, walking Fremont Street, kissing in elevators, making love in places they shouldn't. That night, they watched the Bellagio fountains one more time. "I'll take the publishing deal," she said, "but it doesn't mean goodbye." Jake nodded. "Let's build a bridge between us, not a wall." She kissed him fiercely. "You're not my Vegas fling. You're my damn headline." Chapter 21. Not the end. The next morning, Jake drove her to the airport in the Mustang.
No te has.
Just quiet music and long looks. "I'll come to New York in 2 weeks," he said. "I already checked flights." She leaned over and kissed his jaw. "You better." At the gate, she looked back once. He was still standing there, hands in his pockets, watching her like she was his sunrise. And in her heart, she knew this was just the beginning.